Hello everybody, Mr. 901 Tommy Jackson, official Maestro of content for Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. And boy, has it been blog post and update Monday. Well, today we've got another blog post for you, all about some balance changes and some reworks already hitting the world of Mayhem. And bone of contention with some people right here, DC Devil, but I think it's all okay. We're going to go over that blog post in detail in just a moment. But remember, guys, we also went over this live on Twitch earlier today and 1 p.m. Central every single weekday. You can join me live at twitch.tv/Mr. 901 Tommy Jacks. All right, so we've got a lot of blog posts to get to. We've got a lot of changes. I think for the most part, all positive. I know some people were disappointed about some of the Sea Devil rework, but without further ado, let's jump on over there and take a quick peek at it. All right, so here we go. New blog post of Mayhem. Sea Devil front and center. New balance changes wherein magic pulls itself out of a hat. These changes will be added to the game shortly. They are already live from what I saw today on Twitch, and a lot of magic adjusting a little, and we've got a brand new magic tune coming Friday. So, winky dink, I think not. All right, so the first one up, the Sea Devil. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick. First thing up, Kelp Keeper's damage scaling was modified. Deal 80 scaled up to 100% damage to target enemy and 50% damage to target enemy with the highest speed. The damage scaling was 85 up to 110, so this is considered a little bit of a damage nerf right here. All right, next one is Dreams of Shipwreck now grants tenacity up according to the number of knowledge counters on the team. Now, this is a big deal. This is a big deal right here, and we'll find out why a little later in the blog post. All right, so Dreams of Shipwreck, gain taunt and a knowledge counter. Gain tenacity up for 2 turns for each knowledge counter on your team. On the team. Then, inflict all enemies with 1 scaled up to 3 speed down for 2 turns. And the difference here is that it now gains a knowledge counter. And if you guys remember the last balance changes, there were a few magic tunes that, like Siegfried, that gain that ability where they get knowledge counters. And, you know, Hugo, Apprentice Hugo, knowledge counters. Of course, we know what the knowledge counters does for Egghead the Knowing, or ETK. All right, so the only issue was that, yeah, they all got knowledge counters, but for the team itself, it didn't feel like it did anything, really. Like, individually, yeah, but for the team. Well, now you're noticing right here the number of knowledge counters on the team. So, all right, let's go to the next one. Drag below speed down duration scaling was modified. Whenever this tune hits an enemy or an enemy hits this tune, inflict that enemy with speed down for 1 scaled up to rest of battle. All right, so I consider this to be a little bit of a buff because instead of just 5 turns, it's speed down for the rest of battle once it's fully tuned up. That's pretty strong right there. All right, the next one. Release the smack and cooldown reduced to 2 turns. Used to be 3. So that's just another way to slow these tunes down on the other side, and you can get to it quicker. So I consider that to be a buff. All right, Barnacle Breaker updated to Barnacle Barricade. All enemies start the battle with speed down. While this tune is in battle, your team members have 5 scaled up to 10% defense for each speed down on the attacking team. This skill used to give extra damage to allies when hitting targets with speed down. Okay, so essentially what it's doing there, since it's not giving the extra attack anymore, it's giving a little bit more sustainability because it's increasing the defense of the actual team members based on this for each speed down. And that's, you know, what Sea Devil's always been about, is the speed down. All right, so her Archetype passive updated from Hasty to Valiant Protector. And I know a lot of people were upset about the Hasty changing to Valiant Protector. And Valiant Protector basically increases attack and defense on the tune, whereas Hasty dealt with speed, in which you took your turn. Well, there are a couple of ways to kind of boost her with certain tunes to kind of make her feel like she still has the hasty. I know that was a big bone of contention with the Looney community, was the hasty. However, there are some more things here. They added a magic friendship, and the Penelope Nemesis updated to target Dread Pirate Penelope instead. And right here in the description of what their thought process was of why they changed Sea Devil, it actually makes a lot of sense. Sea Devil is a great tune and had a solid place in any stall team, but lacked the best possible alignment with Egghead the Knowing and the primary magic team. To make her purpose clear, we gave her some interaction with knowledge counters and pushed her focus to value survival in enemy stall. She should be less dominant in a vacuum, but more viable within a stall composition. Okay, so I think really what's happening here is that she always had the magic tag on her. Now, to me, she was a pirate / outlaw. That's the way she looked. But always had a magic tag, and to be honest, I don't know a lot of people that were using her with magic teams. I mean, you've got Handmaiden Granny stall teams with Egghead 3-4D. You had a place for her on the Lunar team. In fact, when the Lunar team fully came out, or the 3 that we have for them so far, one of the suggestions out of one of these blog posts was, in fact, to use Sea Devil there. So less dominant all over the place, but has a better synergy with a magic team. And the question came up today on Twitch, well, you've already got Egghead the Knowing, and we've got Siegfried, or not Egghead, but Princess Hugo, and we've got Siegfried, so if you're going to have 3 tanks on this team, not so fast. I actually believe that it's, I think it's 2 teams. If you really break it down, there's one that it looks like, and we'll read Egghead the Knowings, and it looks like they're gearing towards one particular team, but I think we're going to have a reserve magic team after it's all said and done, maybe. Let me know what you think about that and what your speculations are in the comments. All right, Egghead the Knowing. Fantastic flame damage scaling and extra damage modified. Deal 80, scaled up to 100% damage to target enemy, plus an extra 5% damage for each knowledge counter on this tune. The damage scaling was 85 to 110 with extra damage 25%. And a lot of people in the Twitch chat, the Jack's Army, agreed that Fantastic Flame was pretty bonkers for a basic attack, and this brings it a little bit more in line with what it would be. They did change the name of Crystal Concoction to Dry Roast Concoction. Not a big deal there, but okay. Skills obtained by accumulating knowledge counter no longer start with 1 turn warm up. Okay, now this when I saw this, it blew me away, because one of the issues about Egghead, the Knowing, is that it takes kind of long to get to that banish. It takes like 5, maybe 6 turns, depending on, the speed on the other team and whatnot. This already makes him feel faster in battle. We went in, we played a couple of brawls, nothing serious, just to kind of feel out how it was going to work. And I discovered 2 things. And we'll talk about Merlin Sam in a minute, because his rework is bonkers. But I discovered a couple of things. I feel like the composition is Sea Devil, Merlin Sam, Egghead the Knowing, and Apprentice Hugo. I feel like that's probably going to be the team. Now, this is just me speculating, but that's what I feel. And somewhere in there is an Alchemist Frankenbeans for healing. That's what I feel. All right, so new legendary leadership skill, Book of Wording. Whenever a magic team member gains a knowledge counter, grant them debuff resistance for the rest of the battle. All right, this is huge as well, because now the knowledge counters matter on the team. Like, that matters, along with the way that Sea Devil's kit was just reworked. Knowledge counters matter. All right, so their thought process on Egghead. Egghead the Knowing is the centerpiece of the entire magic team, and he deserved a bit more attention. His game plan generally consists of surviving as long as possible so that he can teach himself Banish and demolish the enemy team. For this, we had to make sure his basic attack wasn't too dominant, so you never want to use anything else. We also gave him a new ability that should keep his team protected for longer and make sure he's kept safe as well. So essentially, you're looking at about 4 turns and you're banishing. Pretty cool. All right, something else that's really cool. This Merlin Sam rework, guys, is bonkers. Watch what I mean. Ash Cannon is now his basic attack. Gain a knowledge counter, then deal 65 scaled up to 80% damage to all enemies, inflicting speed down for 1 scaled up to 2 turns. All right, so this now gains a knowledge counter. Again, that ties into Egghead the Knowing, ties into Sea Devil. Damage used to be 80% for all levels, so now it does have a scale. I don't really think this is any sort of debuff. I think if anything, it's a slight buff because it works better with synergy. All right, then we've got Fireball is now the starting skill. Gain a knowledge counter, dealing 110 scaled up to 150% damage to target enemy. For each knowledge counter on this tune, inflict a damage over time for 1 scaled up to the rest of battle. That is insanity, and I love it. So now it grants a knowledge counter. Damage scales as the tune gets knowledge counters, and it used to be 80% for all levels. This is a huge buff right here. A huge buff. All right. Total Eclipse now has an extra effect for knowledge counters. Remove 50 scaled up to 100% turn meter from all enemies, inflicting 2 speed down for each knowledge counter on this tune. Gain 1 scaled up to 2 attack up for the rest of the battle. Really? Yeah. Sure. Bonkers. All right, so you can remove up to 100% turn meter and then inflict speed down. So you're all the way on top of the turn meter at that point for each knowledge counter on this tune. And who knows how many he has? Every attack he has adds a knowledge counter. And not to mention the residual effect of those knowledge counters on the rest of the team. All right, so Dragon Soul deals extra damage when hitting enemies with speed down. This tune deals an extra 5 all the way up to 10% damage for each speed down on target enemy. Whenever an enemy is defeated, gain 1 all the way up to 2 attack up for 1 all the way up to 2 turns. That itself is perfectly fine because you're going to have enemies with speed down in battle. So basically what happened was that part of Sea Devil's kit kind of transferred to Merlin a little bit. All right, so this was the big thing. This right here, when I read this next one, I just stopped what we were doing on stream. Unquenchable grants resistance to damage over time to magic team members. This tune has plus 50 all the way up to 100% resistance to silence. And while this tune is in battle, all magic team members have plus 50 to 100% resistance to damage over time. So it looks like magic versus villains, magic versus scoundrels. This right here is huge to me. Now I may be blowing it out of proportion a little bit, but damage over time is one of the strongest things in the game, in my opinion. And just to have the resistance there for that team, pretty good. And what they said about this was Merlin Sam is an older tune with a great design that had sadly fallen out of use. We want him to be able to rejoin the Mayhem with better skills and a clearer function within the team. Yeah, he's going to be wrecking folks. That's the clear function. All right, now we do have the Farm Regional coming up tomorrow as we record this. And wouldn't you know who won the pony? Oh, Ralph Wolf. Now, we talked about this. I'm not going to say I called this, but we talked about this live on stream just a few weeks ago with Hillbilly Hair about how Ralph Wolf probably needed some love. And here we go. Adjusted stats for Ralph Wolf. Attack increased 10%, defense increased by 8, and speed increased by 5. Whenever you can increase speed, hey, I'm all for it. Overtime damage scaling modified and applies defense down. Deal 80 scaled up to 100% damage to the target enemy, applying 2 defense down. The scaling was kind of an old format here where it was each thing scaled. So you never really knew what you were going to hit. So this is a little bit more consistent with everything that's in the game now. Now it is a little lower because it could go up to 135, but this is going to be more consistent versus, you think you should be hitting them for 125 and you're actually hitting them for 95. So not horrible. Plus the defense down is a good thing. All right, so Plan A also got reworked. Gain 2 all the way up to sure critical chance up, and hidden for 2 all the way up to 3 turns, plus 50% turn meter. It used to give attack up and dodge chance up, but what is that really going to do for you? If you're putting him on like a farm team with like Sam Sheepdog and Hillbilly Hair and whoever else you want to throw in there, you just don't care. You need somebody to deal some damage. So I would rather have the critical chance up than the dodge. All right, so Plan B was also reworked. Deal 115 scaled up to 135% damage to target enemy with plus 15 scaled up to 25% piercing. If this defeats an enemy, gains sturdy. Now, this is a big deal to me. And the reason I say it's a big deal is because his relationship is with Sam Sheepdog, okay? Sam Sheepdog auto-taunts when someone loses sturdy. So, there's some little interaction there that can help, I do believe. All right, so you used to give critical chance up and hidden. Defeat an enemy using Plan B grants Ralph sturdy, which makes this tune survive a hit that would defeat it, yes. And as soon as that sturdy's gone, if you're teaming up with Sam, with Sheepdog, which you should be, then he's going to put sturdy back on, or he's going to auto taunt as soon as that sturdy's gone. All right, so benefits. Heal scaling was modified and now grants attack up for all team members. Again, they needed some damage. Whenever this tune lands a critical hit, it heals for 35 all the way up to 60% heal power and grants all team members attack up for 2 turns. So I'm liking to see the attack up there. Written Up now triggers on an enemy hit and activates overtime when hidden. Whenever this tune is hit, it gains 5 up to 15% turn meter. If this tune is hidden, unless incapacitated, so like dizzy or frozen, use overtime against an attacking enemy. And overtime is right up here. This is what applies the defense down. Now that's pretty cool. And the reason I think that's pretty cool is because if you're putting, let's say you're putting him with that team composition of Sam Sheepdog, Hillbilly Hare, Ralph Wolf, and then somebody else. Okay. Whoever. That's actually pretty cool because he's the only one that's hidden usually on that team. And if somebody hits him with the AoE, it's almost a penalty for hitting the hidden person, which I like, because before, if you're down to the last person and he's hidden, nah, who cares, right? But now you're going to have to at least deal with the repercussions of that, so I like that. All right, so his nemesis relationship with Sam Sheepdog, replacing the rivalry relationship, now it's a nemesis skill, and the friendship with professional tunes. This is a big deal here, because if you guys remember the Fixer Upper team, he was part of it. Replacing the friendship relationship with all Wile E. Coyote. So this is an old promise that we've finally been able to execute. With Sam Sheepdog getting his place with the professionals boosts, it was only a matter of time before Ralph got some new toys as well. With better skills and stats, he should be much more viable than before, and I agree. All right, so there were also some bug fixes. We're going to take a look at those real quick. Marvin the Marvelous added attack animation with astral maneuvers activated, which we saw that live on stream today. Monster Tweety, Bravery's End. Feedback now displays how many stacks of taunt resistance this tune has. Thank you. Caesar Leghorn fixed Leghorn's might, only removing stats down when it should remove any debuffs. Thank you. Fixed Bulls of War's description. Hillbilly bugs Wampum Load not granting turn meter properly. I had noticed that myself. They got on that pretty quick. And then there was a bunch of different icons that were not set up right. They were Nemesis icons, but appearing as rivalries for the following tunes, quite a few there, and then other relationship fixes when they were missing certain tune icons. I think overall positive. I know a lot of people are going, have been kind of, sour about reworking Sea Devil. What I'm hoping here, though, is that these tunes all still have uses outside of predetermined teams that they're on, because one of the things that myself and the community really like to do is theory craft, meaning, hey, what if we take this piece? What if we take this piece? What if we take this and this and we put them together and we make a team based on the way the kits work together? I feel like you can still do that with these, but they do have a little bit more use within their team. So let me know what you think about all of these reworks. Let me know what you think about what we just talked about there, about the different team compositions, in the comments below. Remember, guys, do me an old favor while you're here. Smash that old sub button, bang that old bell, put a like on this thing, for crying out loud. And until next time, guys, I think you know what to do. Stay loony! And we're going to catch you down the road.